Hello, everyone. We'll wait until 2:03 in case people are still logging in, and then after that, we'll introduce Mike. All right, well, let's get started. Thank you for joining, everyone. I'm Brianna Sutherland. I'm the intern at IEDC. I grew up in Grand Rapids and graduated from ICC in 2020, and I'm now pursuing a degree in business administration at NDSU in Fargo. And we are excited to introduce our guest speaker, Mike Korte. So, Mike was originally from Grand Rapids area and relocated with his family in 2018 back to the area. Prior to this, he spent time working at KARE 11 in Minneapolis to start his career. In 1989, he took a position with the Rochester Post-Bulletin, which at the time had a circulation of 50,000 households. During this time, his career transitioned into marketing and sales. He took on a number of startup projects for the paper in 1991 and eventually was named Special Projects Manager, responsible for classified national accounts and co-op advertising. In 2005, he took over an insider sales team and was later promoted to retail manager, overseeing a staff of 30 individuals, in which his team was responsible for $16 million a year in revenue. In 2005, he left the newspaper industry to work with a friend of his who owned a collection agency called the Affiliated Group. His role at this time was as sales director, tasked with scaling the company to grow revenues in the areas of medical, utility, and government collections. During his time there, the company grew sustainably, working with 15 large utility companies in the US, several large healthcare systems with multiple locations, and a great number of government entities. As a team, they scaled the company from 20 to 100 employees. In 2017, the company was sold to a larger agency based in Texas. During this time, Mike was a member of the executive team, but after a couple of years decided to scale back from traveling and eventually took a position with some colleges who had an online software company, which allowed for an easier way for medical payments to be made. This company was soon sold, at which time Mike decided to start his own handyman company in Rochester, which was a ton of fun. And quote by Mike, "It was during this time that Brian Hansen from Apex reached out to me about an opportunity with Entrepreneur Fund. I had not heard of this company, but met with him and it was a great fit, which allowed us to move back to the area. My current role is to help entrepreneurs reach their goals and dreams through advising/coaching and helping financially if needed." So now I'd like to turn it over to Mike, and I'll just say to please remain muted throughout the presentation. Feel free to drop questions in the chat. At the end, Mike will show it. We'll open it up for Q&As.
Thanks, Brianna. I'm going to pull this up here real quick. Can you see that? Can you see it?
Oh, we're still seeing the background, it looks like, of your computer.
Hang on.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
You're good. I think you just got to click from the beginning or current slide. Yep, one of those will work. Perfect.
All right. So thanks, Brianna, for the intro and opportunity to get together and have some conversations in regards to the Entrepreneur Fund and kind of what we do and our roles in the area. We'll kind of go through the slides, and if you have any questions on anything, just holler and we'll be happy to answer them. So the Entrepreneur Fund, our key mantra is that basically expanding your ability to grow. And you can see the pictures that are in here and kind of the collage of a list of entrepreneurs that we've worked with, and some of our advisors and lenders, and it's kind of fun. So, and our motto is that we believe small businesses have the power to transform their communities and region. And every day we partner with entrepreneurs to help make that a reality. We were started about 30 plus years ago, 31 years ago. And when we started, it was in 1989, actually 32 years ago. And Mary Matthews was our founder. She recognized at that time there was a lot of people in the mining industry was really kind of not doing very well. And she recognized that a lot of people, entrepreneurs, just didn't have the capital to start a business, or with the way things were, they were going to leave and head down to the metro area and we'd probably never see them again. So she was able to raise some capital and get funding to these entrepreneurs so that they could start their businesses. And from there, the idea was like, okay, we can't just give money to people and then forget about them. So we started to do advisory work and working with them on cash flows and projections, and basically trying to build the business the best that we can for them. And it's been a successful venture over the last 32 years of growing entrepreneurs in the area. This is a picture of our team. We're at Pier B. This is after COVID, so just this summer the picture was taken, and it's about half of the team. We've got, oh gosh, we're up pushing close to 30 employees now. And our team is basically team members that have diverse backgrounds and perspectives and skills. We kind of check our egos at the door, roll up our sleeves and go to work. And that has been a lot of fun because we do whatever it takes is kind of the mantra, whatever it takes to get things done. And a lot of people that are entrepreneur team members are also own their own business or have been in business. So they're familiar with the struggles and trials and tribulations that you have. And the question of, what keeps you up at 2 a.m. in the morning? And we ask that question a lot and get a variety of different answers. But I love the fact of, I've got kind of a wide array of background, as Brianna was mentioning, but the opportunity to come back and to give back and to help these entrepreneurs take it to the next level is pretty rewarding, pretty satisfying. And the team that I work with that you see there, they all feel the same way, and that's why we just have a wonderful team, and it's just a great organization to be a part of. Our headquarters are in the Duluth area, and that's where the main corporate office is, right off of Superior Street. We also work in 17 counties across Minnesota and also on the western side of Wisconsin, Douglas County. We can go outside of the service area, typically one county outside if we need to. Right now we have 5 offices in the area, where we have them in Eveleth and Hibbing, here in Grand Rapids, which is where I'm located, at the IEDC building, and we have one in Little Falls. So kind of a wide array of areas that we cover, which is good. So we what we find is we have clients that we'll do a loan for, and oftentimes we'll end up doing 3, 4, 5 loans for them over the course of time. In 2020, which was a record year for everybody, unfortunately, due to COVID, and I just have to commend the work that IEDC did and the partnership that we had with IEDC on helping entrepreneurs to get through the pandemic, was very rewarding and very fun. And that was just one project that we had, and we'll talk a little bit in depth about that project as we get forward. But this is kind of a list of who we served in 2020, and you can see we served over 1,800 entrepreneurs, close to 900 small businesses in our service area, and we had 523 loans that we either closed, that were closed to start a business, to stabilize, or to grow. Stabilize, just trying to get through COVID. It's interesting, when I started in 2018 with the company, we were doing about 10 million in lending, and we've doubled that in 2020, as far as the lending that's gone out. So if you take 20 million into 523 loans, it's, I think 39,000 average loans. So a lot of small loans for businesses to get rolling. The clients that we serve, 9% are minority clients. We have 23 businesses that were startup, or 23% of the businesses we served were startups. We had 70% of clients were female. 59% of businesses are obviously, they were in the growth mode, trying to grow their business through COVID, which is positive. And 57% are in rural communities. So that's kind of our bread and butter, is to be out in the rural area. And all these pictures that you see are clients that we've worked with. So this is this slide is vitally important, because we're a partner at every stage. We don't just lend money, as an example, to you and then say, make your loan payments, we'll see you in 2 months, or we'll see you whenever. We really dive into the why the money is needed, what you're going to do with the money, and we want it to be successful. So we have a very arduous due diligence process that we use in doing the loan process with a platform called Spark, where we're gathering data. But it starts at the beginning. So the idea comes, and you want to take the next step of turning your idea into a business. So we'll help you with that. We have a team that will work inside our team of advisors that will do the work. But then we also partner, as with IEDC and the SBDCs. Rob Shostrand, we do a lot of work with him, where he's putting together cash flows or projections for the company, and we work hand in hand to make sure that the plan is successful before we take it to the next level. So we'll set up partners along the way. We have a number of partners, resource partners that we just love working with. It makes it a lot of fun. And from there, we'll do the loan, and we start to work on the business. And I love the saying, work on your business and not just in it, because so many business owners get so ingrained in the day-to-day operations of the business that they can't see outside. They can't see outside to see what's past the forest. And I can attest to that with the work I've did in the collections arena, when we scaled our company from 20 to 100 employees, and did a lot of traveling. And oftentimes on late night flights coming home was when you really had a time to work on your business and kind of step outside the box and say, what about this? And should we do this? And you take those ideas back and you bounce them off people, and you have to have a good team to be able to bounce off. And as a small business owner, you may not have the luxury of having that team in place of salaried employees, but you have the entrepreneur fund that you can bounce those ideas off of. You've got the IEDCs and the SBDCs that you can bounce ideas. So there's just options on every corner, and you just don't need to feel like you're alone in this. So, when you're up at 2 a.m. wondering what to do next, just know that we'll start taking phone calls at 7, and we'll go from there and try and help you out a little bit. And then scaling the business. You go back to the prior slide where almost 60% were trying to grow their business even during a pandemic. And that can be challenging, but how do we get to the next level? And that's one of our goals that we look at is like, okay, how many clients do we get to where they are maybe startup and now they're $1 million a year client? And sometimes you can't even envision that. But, once you get the first $1 million in revenue, it's a lot easier to get the second million. And then how do you just keep scaling? And is scaling the right thing? Sometimes we have some clients that do $1 million a year in revenue, and they were more profitable when they did 300,000 or 200,000. So all of those are on the table for discussion points that we have with clients. So this is our work that we did in Itasca County in 2020. We worked with 125 business owners. Our team did. We had 900 hours individual advising sessions with Entrepreneur Fund business advisors and developers. We had 85 loans that we made to 66 businesses. So going back to my point earlier, when we work with a customer, oftentimes we'll not just do one loan, but we'll do 2, 3, 4 loans down the road. We lent out $2.5 million in loans and financing to Itasca County business owners in 2020, which was a substantial amount of capital to get out. We did a lot with IEDC, partnering with IEDC on the Small Business Relief Fund, which was dedicated specifically to COVID. $1.16 million that we helped partner to get out, and those were loans that were up to $25,000. So they were smaller loans, but they were emergency loans. We had a great team where we did our credit write-ups, put them together. We sat together, we looked at them, we analyzed them, and then we were able to get that money out. And it was a great program because it was 0% interest and 6 months of no payments to help get through COVID. So IEDC Entrepreneur Fund, great partnership with Apex as well, whose houses in this building, and working together. It's amazing when you work together what you can accomplish. So overall, we did 20 million, as I said earlier, which is a huge number. I mean, again, you go back 10 years ago, and we were doing about 3 million in a year in lending. So to get to 20 million was huge. 523 loans to start, stabilize, or grow, and the average loan size is $38,000. So that's not a huge loan size for people. But the one I like best of all of that is this number right here: 17,600 hours spent one-on-one with business owners in that 17 county area. So that's a lot of hours to be out and about. And that's what we need to be. You need to be out on the street, listening and hearing what people have to say, and just sometimes just having coffee and talking about anything is a good thing. Just to be a partner, to know that they're there, and that helps build the trust rapport. So we talked about this already, the more than a loan. So once the loan is done, and we want to work with you on a plan as an advisory or as an advisor as to what the next steps are. And we want to work with you to kind of lay out a roadmap of how to get from X to Y. And we know that getting from X to Y may not be just that straight line. There's oftentimes you're going to have a lot of bumps in the road, but at the end of the day, you're going to get there. And there's a great book by Jim Collins called Good to Great. And he talks about that. He talks about being on the bus and trying to get to where you need to go, and you're going to bounce around a lot. And you're going to find sometimes that the people on the bus need to be rearranged and put into different seats. So that's part of it, asking the hard questions. Do we have the right people in the right seats and the right chairs of what we need to do? And we're not afraid to ask the tough questions. And then from there, a lot of times it's gaining capital. It's needing additional capital. We are a nonprofit lender. And so one of our main partners is banks. That's one of our goals, is to get our clients to become bankable. So when I mention that, is like oftentimes new entrepreneurs will come to us, they have an idea, they go to the bank, and it doesn't fit the bank's requirements at this point in time. So we are a risk lender. So we'll take a higher risk on the entrepreneur to get them to succeed. But then we'll also try to get them to the point where they are bankable, where when the next project comes up, the bank will say, we'll take X amount, and then we would take the back end of it. And then eventually we get them to be full-time bankable, because what that does is that helps to create more jobs and more opportunities in our area. And that leads to, increased capital to be spent. It just leads to so many opportunities for all of us. And that's what we want, is to be able to grow our employee base and employer base. So that's kind of a fun thing to do. So what do we bring to the table? What can you expect? We're going to be your partner up front. We're going to ask the tough questions. We're going to put together a customized roadmap on how to get there. We're going to connect you to the people that you need to be connected to, and that was one thing when I first came on. I was like, okay, if we got to connect, we get to so-and-so, how do we do this or how do we do that? And there's just so many partners that are out there, and we can help to put the pieces of the puzzle together for you. And then the tools and the knowledge, and then the money. We'll talk for a little bit about the money here in just a little bit. Okay, I want to play this video. So this is one of our clients, Bob Broking from Broking's Trucking. And Brianna, can you just tell me if you can hear this?
Hello, my name is Bob Broking, and I own Broking's Transport in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. I am an entrepreneur just because I wanted to control my own life. I want to be able to make the amount of money I want to make. I want to have freedom to do what I want. It pretty much all boils down to that. Broking's Transport is a family-owned trucking company that we do have regional freight, local freight, and over-the-road freight. The company was actually started back in 1990 by my dad, John, and I was involved in the company right away after that and kept going. And my dad retired in 2017. He retired all the way, and I took it over from there. Part of our success, I would say, is we both enjoyed it and we liked it, and it was something we wanted to do, and we made it work. I originally got hooked up with the Entrepreneur Fund in 2011 when I was combining the two companies together. I got hooked up with Mike Korte here in town, and he's been very helpful ever since, keeping us on the right track to grow our business and helping us through any troubled times we may have had or the COVID situation. Mike Korte's been great helping us through all that. I've worked with the Entrepreneur Fund originally, merging two businesses together, which they were a huge help for that. I worked with them on business structure and that type of thing, and I got into the EOS with them, and I have also worked with them on some financing on SBA loans and all that type of stuff. So I've pretty much hit, I think, most of the avenues that the Entrepreneur Fund does. They are a great research, and I'll tell you, they have helped me a ton. I mean, not only with loans and stuff like that, but just advice and keeping the company going in the direction I want it to go. Get hooked up with the Entrepreneur Fund and work hard and listen to what they have to tell you.
So that was, oops. Let's see something here. I gotta move that. Trying to move this slide. There we go. Okay, so Bob Broking, he's in Grand Rapids here, and he's just a wonderful client to work with. And there's an example of a client that has already is doing really well, and we were just able to help him get to the next level. We work with him in a product called EOS, which is the Entrepreneurial Operating System, which is based off the book Traction by Gino Wickman. And that's got a lot of great ideas on basically taking about 6 components to run your business, and you getting those ideas out of your mind onto a piece of paper, and then setting basically 90-day to-dos. And it's amazing when you start to do that, how fast you can grow your company. And our company got on it about 3 years ago, and obviously the growth has been pretty much through the roof because of following the EOS system. So if you want more info on that, let me know afterwards, and I can point you in the right direction on that. The other thing which we have is our Women's Business Alliance, And so we have a central director for Women's Business Alliance, and then we have a north director. So our central one is Sandy Voigt. She's down in Little Falls. And we had two Sandy Larson then is in the Duluth area. And they work a lot with female entrepreneurs, putting customized programs and services together for them. We do a SOAR conference, which we did down in Mora a couple of, not last year, obviously because of COVID. Well, we did it online last year, but in person the year before. And the building was packed. There was, don't quote me on the numbers, but I'm gonna say 150 female entrepreneurs who got together, and it was seminars and sessions and just a way to build a network base and to get to garner some synergies amongst each other and just be able to really hone in on growing your business. So they also do women mastermind sessions, which is just what that sounds like, is mastermind and on growing your business. They do webinar series, and then they do one-on-one advising services as well. So again, no charge on any of that for our clients that we work with. Again, with just the mantra of how do we grow businesses? How do we grow the business for you? And what I love best is that there's no cookie cutter approach, because there's no, I do a lot of loans, I do a lot of advising, and there's no two scenarios that are the same, right? Everybody's got their own story, and it's so important that story is told, and we'll do whatever we can to help that story to market it. And there's an old saying that I've kind of lived on in my years, is that nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. And I think that's the idea we want to take with every client that we work with, is to know that we really do care. I mean, that phone call comes Friday night at 8 o'clock from an upset client about having a bad week or whatever. We're going to take the call, and others will as well. So the business advising is basically what we do on business advising, is working with clients to help on business planning, the cash flows, the financials, the operations, marketing, and much more. So our team is set up where we have an operations team, which is obviously back office. We've got a financial team that's taking care of our books and things like that. We've got a group of advisors, and then we have a group of developers, and then we have a team of loan officers and senior loan officers. So advisors are just working with the businesses when they're having the ideas and the startups, and then working ongoing with the clients even after the loan is done. So they're getting together and they're putting together the roadmaps and things like that. A developer will work with as an advisory, as doing advisory work as well. And then they'll also take on some smaller loans, typically a micro loan. So they'll work with clients where they do up to a $50,000 micro loan. And as it's been so COVID based last year, they also took on some other loans as well, larger loans, because we were so busy with loans. And then from a loan officer's perspective, or a senior loan officer, we will work with them on putting together the loan process and then getting it approved for them. And then in my case, because I'm kind of over in Grand Rapids, I also work with them on advisory and trying to grow their business. And because I'm here at IEDC, I've got all these resources that we can put together as well. So that's kind of a fun thing to do. The financing is flexible. We are a nonprofit lender, as I said before. So what does that mean as a nonprofit? Well, it means we do a lot of due diligence. We have a default rate of less than 1%, which is amazing because we are a gap flex or a gap gray area lender, but we do a ton of due diligence. So when we're getting a loan, it's not like you place a call and all of a sudden we're just going to, write you a check the next day. There's information gathering that goes into it. We have to get personal taxes, we have to get business taxes, we have to get, if it's a new business, we got to get projections, we've got to run credit, we do all, we got to look at collateral, we got to look at all those types of things. And I'll tell you, our rates, we're higher than a bank in terms of rates, which is fine. That's what we want to be, because a bank, we want to get to that point of being bankable, but oftentimes we're in a second position for collateral or a junior position. So we're behind the primary. And so our rates are a little bit higher for that. But I always tell people, it's not really about the rate, it's about the ROI. So what are you going to do with that money to get to the greatest return on your investment? And that's what we need to look at. So again, everything is customized. So there's no cookie cutter approach. And it's not just a loan, and we are a nonprofit. So we do get some funding from the SBA. So I'm going to go forward again. These are the types of loans that we do. So sometimes people think, oh gosh, you're a nonprofit gap lender, you can lend out like up to $5,000. Well, We can lend out up to $750,000 on projects, and we can actually go higher than that if need be. But our lending limits are pretty much at $750,000. Have we done large loans like that? Yeah, we have. And there's a lot of due diligence. But we do a lot of microloans. So a microloan is SBA, obviously Small Business Administration. A microloan comes with the parameters of going up to $50,000. It can be used for working capital or purchase some equipment or whatever needs to be done. We write a lot of microloans because average loan size 38,000, as we saw earlier. So we write a ton of microloans, which is great because that's kind of in our sweet spot area. And as a microloan is written, there's kind of a cool thing because we also have what's called TA, which is technical assistance. So you do a microloan for say $30,000 for working capital or purchase a piece of equipment. We have advisors that are specialized in marketing, human resources, QuickBooks, just as an example of those things. You will get up to $1,500 of free services from one of those advisors as part of the microloan process. So you do a loan for $30,000, you get $1,500 in services. Oftentimes those services are in QuickBooks because again, you're focused on the business and running the book side of it may be a little bit of a challenge. So we have people that can help with that, and hopefully that turns into a relationship where then you may outsource that portion of it and let somebody else worry about it so you can focus in on what you do best, which is what you thrive on in the business. So that's a cool thing. $1,500 is free. We line it up. We do all the work for you to get it going. And it's a wonderful program. We are also, not to toot our own horn, but I will a little bit, but we are of all the microloans that were written in the state of Minnesota last year, we did over 60% of them. So we were recognized as a microloan lender of the year at the SBA conference, which is kind of a cool award. So then we do the SBA where we do expresses and we do 7As, and those are, an express is obviously less than a full 7A. Full 7As go up to like $5 million. And the expresses are obviously a lot less than that, but those are for real estate purchases or greater things that can run the terms out to 25 years or so, or if need be. The microloan, I should say, that program goes out to about 90 months right now. But so those are programs that we do as well, where we run those 7As. We also do 504s. So a 504 is dedicated specifically to real estate. So as an example, let's say there's a resort purchase, and the resort purchase is, I'm just going to throw a random number out. Let's say 100,000, or let's say $1 million. So somebody's buying, they want to do it for $1 million. A 504 project, you have to get the bank involved. Then you get the SBA. We get like an SBA provider who does strictly 504 loans. And we have one in Wisconsin, and others in Minnesota that we work with. And then there's the equity piece of the project. The bank will take 50% of the project. So of that $1 million, the bank comes in at $500,000 that they're going to lend out. Then the SBA comes in, the 504 comes in, and they take, say, 30%. So that's 300,000. Maybe they'll take 35, whatever that number. And then the other part is the equity, which is coming up with your equity injection into it to make that deal happen. And we can help fund a portion of that equity injection on the backside, so that you'll have to come in with something because we want you to come in with some cash in there on such a deal like that. But we can help fund on the back end to help make that, dream a reality, because that can be a little bit of a daunting task for you. Banks love 504s because they only are funding half of the loan, but they're in a first position on the collateral, which is typically, it's going to be more than 50% of the loan value. So that's a great program that we work. We also do specialized programs. Well, I should back up for a second with the whole COVID stuff as well. People that had these loans in place with us, the SBA, as part of the COVID Act, CARES Act, was making principal and interest payments for a number of months for anybody that had these SBA loans. So that was a real lifesaver last year, as well, as that the SBA made these payments for them. They come back now, like on these express or microloan and express, through like the middle of September. If you get a loan set up for that, then they will make this. I'm going to say as of today, because everything changes quickly. They will make the first 3 months of those loan payments for you. So there's a lot of cool options that are out there. In addition, we also do other programs. We're working with the IRRR right now on a loan program that's dealing with COVID. They've been a great partner. We're administering the program. So again, we're putting together the credit summaries. We worked with IDC, and we talked about on the loan program with them for 1.16 million in the last year and also into this year. We work with USDA. We work with unrestricted. So there's a number of different financing options that are out there. And again, it's just a matter of putting the pieces in the puzzle together. This is Lakewood Lodge up by it's not Deerwood, it's Deer River. It's up by Deer River on Sand Lake, so it's in Itasca County. So this is Amy and Preston Osborne. They were looking to buy a resort up in the area. They were from the Texas area. You know, we got them together, worked with Rob quite a bit, Rob Showstrand and others. And basically we were trying to put together a package for them that made the most sense. And it can be overwhelming because you're like, I just want to go to the resort and run the resort, right? But how do we get everything put together? And they're just wonderful people, great project to work on, and they're doing very well. And just super happy for them. So we talk about going back to giving back and making dreams a reality. That this is what's the rewarding, is when you see pictures and you see quotes like this. So that part is super, super fun. Okay. We're coming to the end here, but there's other programs for growth. So we do different programs that are out there. We do Be Strategic classes, which are once a week classes. And it goes through the basics of trying to really grow your business, from marketing to how to do a budget, you name it. So those are set up in all different regions. What's nice about those classes is that they're not only fun for the entrepreneurs to get together, but they get together with other entrepreneurs that are in their area. So they're doing it down in the St. Cloud area, they're doing it in Brainerd, they're doing it in Superior, they're doing it in Grand Rapids. And when they get together with those other entrepreneurs, not only are they doing the class, but then they start to build relationships and partnerships with people that are in the same boat with them. And it gives them another resource to bounce questions off because they're doing the same thing. So that's just kind of a wonderful, wonderful program that we do. I talked a little bit about EOS, which is the EOS operating system. We kind of we've helped clients with that if they need be. We've got technical assistance providers who know EOS that we can help set you up on it. There's the SOAR programs, there's the masterminds, I would just get engaged and reach out. Here in this area, we're doing Profit Mastery with IEDC's doing Profit Mastery. That's a great program for the financial side of things. So, there's plenty of free opportunities for you to really try to jump in there, free or very minimal cost to you. So, I lost it. I can't move my slide. There we go. Okay. This was another little boutique, is in Duluth, Minnesota. So it's a little boutique shop. This gal used to work actually for us at Entrepreneur Fund, and she was just like, you know what, I'm ready to jump out and jump into entrepreneurship, and she did, and she's doing very well. That happens a lot. We've got people that work with us and they get the itch. Some of us have done it and they get the itch and they're like, I want to just do it, and they jump in full-fledged, and we love that. We encourage that, and we'll help them any way we can. And sometimes they do it when they continue to work with us, and that's fine too. So we just want everybody to be successful in what they do. That's just some ways that you can connect with us. I would check out our website. We do a lot of stuff on the website, www.entrepreneurfund.org. There's a lot of cool things that are there. So, and then there's me, and that's a bad picture, but that's me. And then that's Shar as well. Shar is a business advisor. She's over in the Hibbing area, but she comes over here to Grand Rapids to help out as needed. So a lot of talking on my part, and just want to see if there's any questions that anybody has, and that I can try to answer. Sweet. No questions. Well, if anybody needs any more information on anything we said, my contact information is there. You know, you just need to dial or send me an email, either one, and I'll get back in touch with you. Although next week I'm going fishing, so it'll have to be the week after.
Well, good luck fishing, Mike. And thank you everyone for coming. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thanks all.
Thanks again, Mike.
You bet.